Hey guys, welcome back to Vince-Vell Custom. So today I'm doing a review on my Badger 360 airbrush. Now this airbrush is pretty cool. It's got its uses, but I don't really use Badgers much anymore. But since I've had this for so long, maybe about 10 years now, it's actually a good brush for specific things, and I'll go over that in a bit. But the cool thing about it is it's a 360, and it is a dual action. Now the 360 means you can take this cup here, and you can spin it around. So if you want to use it as dropping in a couple drops of paint and using it, it's cool. It's got a metal cap. You pop that off, and so if you want to put a couple drops of paint in and just spray a little color, you can. But if you really want to spray heavy and really get a lot of paint out, you can grab one of your bottles like this, fill it up with paint, and you can put it into the bottom of the airbrush like so. You know, the only downside is it hits that piece, so you got to kind of maybe want to turn it so it's kind of like that, and you can really pull out a lot of paint and really cover something like that. So I have used it in the past where I had to mix up a special amount of paint and really get a big statue painted in that color so I can do this. But the only problem, like I said, is it sprays very, very heavy. But what I use it for is speckling, and if you spray it far away and you drop off some paints, it comes out like, you know, you could kind of make like a granite street effect. So I'll show you that in a little bit, but it's a cool airbrush. The only problems I really have with it a lot is whenever I'm ready to go clean, because it's so big in there, and it's like, I guess it's like a very big area up in here, it gets clogged a lot. And I have a lot of problems with clogging in here, and then if you go to pull out the needle, it gets very, it just gets clogged. It's very, I don't know, it just drives me nuts sometimes. But I guess that's why they had this little piece here, is because it's easier to pull out the needle. But I find that it it really does cause issues. So it is, like I said, dual action. It's got this little 360 look going, and it's not bad. It does work out pretty cool. So, and it didn't come with the quick disconnect. You have to pick that up separate. But that's what I picked up. So it's got its uses. So what I'll do is I'll set up a board, and I'll show you what I mean, what I do with the speckling on it. Because other than that, I really don't use it for anything else, and because it's just too heavy. And if you spray a really like watery paint out of it, it comes out very crazy and fast. So it's got to be kind of a thicker paint coming through this. So what I usually do is Createx paints. So I'll set up a board, and I'll show you what I mean by throwing in like blacks and whites and kind of getting that granite look going. So let's set up and we'll go from there. Alright, so I got it sprayed far away, so it's going to give you an idea. So I'm going to put some drops of paint in here, and it blows through the paint really fast. So this is Createx paint right out of the bottle. So I put in the drops of paint, and you'll see right away it sprays very, very heavy. See how it sprays? It just kind of went through and just burned through all those paint real fast. But the cool thing about it is, if you take some white paint and you mix and match, and you spray far away, like I'm really far away, you could kind of start speckling. As you can kind of see, it starts building up slowly with the whites, and then you could kind of start getting granite effect through it. So kind of gets in a little bit closer for you. You can start building it up and start creating a little bit of effects with it, but it burns through paint really heavily. I mean, really heavily. And in here, it starts getting. Let's see if we can. It's kind of hard to see in there, but it starts getting caked up in there a lot, and it starts causing a lot of issues. So you gotta really kind of clean it out. So what I do is I go over to my little cup over here. I get my bottle, and I start trying to squeeze all that paint out. It's a little bit messy, but it works out pretty decent, you know. So you gotta get in there and you gotta clean it pretty well. That's the only little problem with it. But it's really good for heavy paint and doing a lot of speckling. So, you know, I'll be standing back here. Let's get back further. And I'll spray like, I guess you can say, right about like here. So I'm about like an arm's length away from here, and I'll be speckling and keep building up and speckling. But it sprays so heavy that your item is kind of wet. So you got to kind of dry it. So I'll use my hair dryer and I'll blow dry it up, speckle it, and it's kind of like my whole building up granite, you know, car looks, any kind of like speckling that you want to get some kind of effect going with a base. So that's pretty much the Badger 360, and it's not bad. It's pretty good. It works out. It's just that it's not great for any kind of detailing, but it works out great for speckling, thick paints, and that's what I use it for. So if you ever see one and you wanted to try it out, or if you were thinking of picking one up, hopefully you guys gives you an idea of what they do. So thanks for watching. We'll be back with more reviews.